Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we conk, ignites the gay flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Whoa! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we conk, ignites the gay flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here this evening as the Metalheads Truck Series live from Rockingham Speedway. It is our throwback race here this evening, and that's going to be a lot of fun as we're going to see some great paint schemes from the past here on the racetrack. As you take a look at that Muhlenberger Custom Homes number 51 ride, that is Joshua Moore. Moore will start in that pole position to his outside in the HTB number 318. It's the Majula Safe Speed Shop ride. It is Matthew Catania. Starting in position number 3 in the 92 ride, it's the winning bid machine. That is the 92 of Clinton Woodby. To his outside in the number 00. Beautiful looking ride here this evening. That is the Carolina Collision ride. That is Nate Cogdell. Starting in position number 3 in the ASL Chevrolet. It is the American Sign Language ride. The 3 machine, it's Keith Prince, who will start there in that 5th position. Matt Hayden will start in position number 6. Don't see him on the racetrack as of yet, as you do see Michael Madden there. Oh, there we go. We see that 5 right now jumping into the racetrack. There he is, Eagle 1, number 5. Matt Hayden there in 6. Michael Madden and Daniel Dow in their Sparkle and Shine Anything EC rides there in 7th and 8th here to start this race. Starting back in the 9th position, it is the Napa Auto Parts number 27 as Nick Gardner into his outside in the 133. That is Ashley Ellison Jr. starting there in position number 10. Starting in the 11th position, it is the Sinclair Dyno Care, the number 6 ride. It is Rusty Modesty starting there in the 11th position. To his outside will be the Liquid Death Sonographic Designs number 4 of Jesse Calloway. Starting in position number, I do believe this is 13th, will be the 05 ride. That is Joe Bennett. His outside should be the 97 of Colton Hardy, rounding out our top 14 on the racetrack. And that QH Design LLC machine there in position number 14. Then we see Rooster Rodin in the Avenged Sevenfold 01 ride. The beautiful, always beautiful Welcome to the Swamp, the Florida Gator 17 of Bruce Bernard. And bringing up the rear of the field in the UPS, the Ups 46. It is Skylar Berry there in the 17th position. As we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation, as we are quickly green flag racing here with the Metalheads Truck Series, as these drivers looking to duke it out here at the beautiful Rockingham Speedways. They head down Thunder Alley down to corner number 3 as the 51 or more leads us here through corner 1 and out of corner number 3 and out of corner number 4 here. He will lead lap number 1 on the evening. So more out in front, looking for more, hoping to be out in front for a whole lot more here this evening. A lot of racing left to go, though. A lot of racing, a lot of action, and for each and every one of these drivers, they'll have their work cut out for them here today. Their work is going to be it's going to be tough, man. This is a tough racetrack. 200 laps as well. It's a long time. It's a lot of laps. It's a lot of trial and error, trying to figure out what your truck may need, what you have to do, where you need to be on the racetrack to keep yourself out of trouble, and not getting up into that outside fence is a great start, as you did see our race leader get up and tag it there a little bit through the middle of corner 1 and 2. Now, luckily enough for Joshua Moore, able to collect it, keep it rolling, keep himself out of trouble, and keep on battling here this evening. His last time around, he laid down the quickest lap of this race, and he's hoping to continue to find that speed, continue to try to pull farther and farther away, and he does find that speed. Lays down another quick time. So back-to-back laps being the quickest truck out there on the racetrack here this evening, as Joshua Moore really on it hard here early on. This is where tire wear is going to play a major factor, I think. I'm not 100% sure on how much of the tire wear takes effect here at Rockingham with the repave and everything else, but I feel like we're going to see quite a bit of tire wear out there. Drivers are definitely struggle later in these runs, and that obviously having fuel kind of become a major factor in this race, as well as some of these drivers will have to try and figure out where they need to be, what they need to do here, have the proper amount of fuel mileage and everything else. Let me double check and see when we get our stages here, as we do have a stage break. We have 3 sets of tires, and I do believe our stage break is at lap number 40. So lap number 40 is that first stage. They got 3 sets of tires plus the set that they start with. So I feel like a lot of drivers are probably going to try to make it to that 40-50 lap area for each run. Probably come down pit road there at the end of that first stage, throw a set on if they need it. They can really get a good look at tire wear and what they're sitting at and where they're heading, and what the trajectory is and how hard they were running compared to how slow they were going, to see how much that tire wear is really affecting their ride. So for a lot of these drivers, these first few laps, this first stage is going to be a big learning experience to try to set yourself up for later in this race. As Joshua Moore right now does have that race lead, Moore out in front, leading Matthew Catania. Catania sits there in position number 2. Little further back, you do see the 00, Nate Cogdell. Cogdell in that Carolina Collision 00 ride, now up and into that 3rd position with Daniel Dow and Michael Madden now in 4th and 5th on the racetrack. So both these drivers moving forward here early on this evening. Down now up 4 positions. Michael Madden, he's up a couple as we do see Nick Gardner working his way through the field. Same with Jesse Galloway in that 4 ride now into the 7th position. Unfortunately for Clinton Woodby already down 5 spots on the racetrack as that winning bid 92 ride falls backwards here. He's now got Skylar Barry working to his back bumper. Matt Hayden also already early on in this race down 4 positions just inside our top 10 on the racetracks. Got Colton Hardy, Ashley Ellison Jr., Rusty Modesty right there on his back bumper. Keith Prince, Rooster Rodin, Joe Bennett, and Bruce Bernard. The rest of this pack pretty bunched together right here. Some great racing middle of the pack to the back of the pack here, but as you get a little farther forward, it starts to get a little bit more spread out. Drivers starting to open up a little bit more of a gap in between each other as you take a look at our race leader, Joshua Moore. Moore right now has about a 1.3 second gap between himself and Catania. Catania's got about 1.6 seconds between himself and Nate Cogdell. Cogdell's got about half a second now between him and Daniel Dow, and then from this point on, it starts to get a little closer and closer and closer as the battles continue to brew back here just outside our top 7 on the racetrack as you see Skylar Barry finally working his way around that 92 right at Clinton Woodby. Woodby continues to slide backwards now into that 9th position, but is this part of their strategy? Maybe trying to save some tire, maybe trying to figure out what they need to do to try to run better laps later in this race and later in this run. If you can save some tire for later in the run, could potentially set you up for a better long run drive, as already we see our race leaders running quite a bit slower than what their best lap times were. Best lap time there for the 51 ride, and Joshua Moore was a 23.80. Last time around ran a 24.43, so that's a pretty good fall off right there. That is 0.6 of a second for Joshua Moore. Even the drivers back behind him looks about 4 or 5 tenths of a second already off the pace, and we're only 14 laps done here in this race. So tire wear definitely looking like it's playing a factor here this evening, and it's going to be interesting to see what it's going to look like when we're 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 laps into a run here as we continue to keep on doing green flag laps. The tires, the trucks, everything going to continue to keep on moving and falling apart, and everyone's going to be running into issues. Drivers going to be slipping and sliding around, potential contact with the outside fence on a regular basis. We just saw Joshua Moore get another piece of it there. He's trying to keep that ride out of the wall as you don't want to get up to it, don't want to flirt with that fence a little too much out there, as that may hurt you in the long run, as we do see Catania back there in position number 2. He's about 1.6 seconds back of our race leader here, but these two have opened up a pretty sizable lead as now we do see that 2 ride of Daniel Dow. Dow now up and into the 3rd position as the 0-0 Nate Cogdell falls back into position number 4. Michael Madden right there, ready to pounce. Is Madden now going to take a look to the inside of that 0-0? He'll look to try to take position number 3 away from Cogdell here this evening. Actually, position number 4 from Cogdell is down already up into 3rd. Madden now into 4th. Cogdell trying to hang on to that 4th position. Going to continue to battle to the outside of that Sparkle and Shine Anything EC number 15. And that's going to bring in this 27 ride right here is the 27 of Nick Gardner. Gardner right there rolling up to him. Nick definitely starting to put the pressure onto these two cats in front of him. Will he make a move? Will he find his way up and inside the top 5 here as he is putting the pressure on Cogdell and that 15 of Michael Madden, but he's kind of stuck right here behind him. If he can find a way by them, it looks like he may have a really, really fast truck right now, but he's kind of just stuck back here hoping that one of these drivers finally prevails, and it looks like that 15 of Michael Madden will take that spot, but battling back down to the inside. They're going to be elbows up, rubbing and scrubbing out at corner number 4 as the 0-0 Nate Cogdell says, I'm not done giving up this position yet. He wants to hang on to it. Does not want to give Madden that spot. Now he's going to slide job him here in corner 1 and 2. Crossover out of that 15. Should get a good run down the back straightaway. Gets a little squirrely right there as the 27 of Nick Gardner right in this mix. Oh, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in for a treat here this evening. This is going to be a great race. As you do see Joshua Moore down across the line. We'll click off lap number 20, and we're halfway through stage number 1. So halfway through our first stage of the day, and we still have a ton of racing left to go. Still a lot of laps left to be laid down out there on the racetrack. And for drivers just trying to keep themselves out of trouble, it's easier said than done, as Madden finally able to get around Cogdell, same as Nick Gardner, as Cogdell does slide back into that 6th position. Callaway now trying to hunt them down as Josh Berry there in 8th, Colton Hardy back in 9th, and you see that 92 Ryan Clinton Woodby still hanging on to a top 10 run, as we did see one driver head down pit road. It is that Florida Gators riding to 17 of Bruce Bernard. Bruce heads down pit road here early on in this race. Unfortunately, he's going to go a couple laps down, and if he does not get everyone else to come down pit road with him here, that could definitely open up the door for him to go multiple laps down and potentially out of this race. As out in front, it's still Joshua Moore. He continues to look for more as he looks to be that reflection of perfection here this evening, starting in that pole position now, leading the first 23 laps of this race. Moore has that race lead here at the beautiful Rockingham Speedway as they head down Thunder Alley all the way back into corner number 3 here at the Speedway, up to the high side, scraping that outside wall, back down out of corner number 4 and back down across the line. 24 laps completed as we got 16 laps left to go here in stage number 1, and the gap is starting to shrink. That number 318 of Catania starting to reel back in our race leader, so that tire wear, oh look out though, the 318 squirrely out of corner number 2. Oh, baby, that was a close call right there for Catania. He almost went around, almost looped that truck, and almost took himself out of this race here this evening. Unfortunately, that is going to lose a bunch of time there for him, and unfortunately slide a little farther back behind Joshua Moore again, so he'll have to try to recollect himself, mount another challenge, and try to hunt down that number 51 machine. As a little farther back, you do see that 2 ride of Daniel Dow. Madden right there in position number 4 with Nick Gardner back in 5th. Callaway now up and into that 6th position. Skylar Berry now around the 00 and into position number 7 as Nate Cogdell slides all the way back now into position number 8. Rooster Rodden there in position number 9, and it's Keith Prince back in that 10th position in that beautiful number 3 machine. As Joe Bennett, Colton Hardy, Clinton Woodby, Ashley Ellison Jr., Rusty Modesty back there in 15th. Matt Hayden now back in the 16th position. Then we see Bruce Bernard. Unfortunately, looks like Bruce is done and out of this race. Heartbreaker there for that Florida Gators number 17 ride. As out in front, Joshua Moore. He's looking for more here at the racetrack, and after that slip up from that number 318 machine, whatever tire advantage Catania may have had, he may have lost it all there with that mistake, with that slide down the back straightaway. May have burned up a little bit more than what I think he was hoping to right there, and I think any of the advantages he may have had may have just went out the window, as now we see Joshua Moore starting to open up that lead more and more and more, lap after lap after lap. He's actually been the fastest truck out there on the racetrack, so he is a man on a mission right now and looking to just pull away from everybody else and pick up the first stage win here on the evening, as Mr. Moore having himself just a solid run here this evening. Matthew Catania there in second. Daniel Down, Michael Madden, Nick Gardner, our top 5 here, as Gardner's been right there on the back bumper of that 15 ride. Really hasn't taken a big move or a big swing to try to steal that 4th spot away from Michael Madden, but may just be trying to size him up here for later in this race. And I think we talked at the top of the show about how tire wear is probably going to become a factor, and it may be a factor here at the beautiful Rockingham Speedway, and it is definitely going to be a factor, ladies and gentlemen. Tire wear, I think, is going to be the name of the game. Tire conservation, trying to keep yourself out of trouble, trying to keep these tires underneath of you and have longevity out of them is going to be that name of the game. This is already a 31-lap run. Last time around the racetrack, our race leader about a 1.5 seconds slower than his best lap time. Pretty much everybody else back behind our race leader, all running virtually a a second and a half. So that's the tire fall off here after 31 laps. About a second and a half of tire fall off here. And we got 200 laps of this race. We still got just under 170 laps left to go. My gosh, this is going to be intense. It's going to be wild. There's a lot of laps, not a lot of tires out there. So I think for a lot of these drivers, you got to play it very, very consciously. You got to play it very, very close to your chest to make sure you don't make a mistake. If you come down pit road here during this first stage, you throw a set of tires on. You only have 2 sets left back there behind pit wall, and you're only 40 laps into this race. So what's the game plan? What is the challenge that these drivers are going to have to try to do to set themselves up here for later in this race? Do you maybe wait, save a set, try to run this set until lap, 75-ish area, somewhere in there, maybe lap a little farther forward? It's such a hard call. I feel everyone's got to throw a set on. I feel like at this stage, everyone's got to throw a set of tires on. I don't think anybody doesn't put tires on here at the end of this stage. After 40 laps of racing action, the tire fall off, everyone's going to probably come down pit road, see what their tire percentage is at, see what they need to do, and then they're going to try to run this set probably a little bit longer, then go from lap 40 to about lap 100, I'm going to say. Maybe even 120, somewhere in that area. But nonetheless, we do see the caution flag fly. Yellow flag is out here. And I'm not sure what this yellow flag is for. Let's take a look back and see what the caution flag is for. We're going to see, contact here down the back straightaway as it's Jesse Calloway and Skylar Berry. Going to end up making contact here at a corner number 2. They just get tied together. Unfortunately, it looks like Calloway up the racetrack here and into that 46 round. Let's see if we can get another angle at it. It's pretty good contact right there. Pretty heavy hits for both of these drivers as they're a little bit of ways just outside our top 5 here, battling for the 6th position. Barry trying to take that spot away from Callaway. You see Callaway just slides up the track right there. That's the older tires, and obviously trying to make that pass, and this being in the wrong place, wrong time for the 46. Gets hooked. They both wash down the racetrack. Heavy hits down into that inside safer barrier, and unfortunately for the UPS in the Liquid Death rides, some early damage, some early contact, and that will put us under the caution flag. And here we go. We see everybody coming down pit side. Now, this is going to make things that much more interesting because we're not quite at our 40-lap area for the end of this stage. So I'm not sure if we're going to finish this caution under the stage or if the stage will end under this caution, or if they'll potentially just use this caution as the stage break and hand the stage to Joshua Moore. We'll have to wait and see how iRacing scores it, how the league scores it. But nonetheless, all these drivers are going to head down into their pit stall. They're all going to get some. I think they're all going to get some tires here. At least potentially a bunch of them are going to get some tires here. It doesn't look like Joshua Moore got jacked up right there, so I don't think tires going on to that number 51 ride. But you see other drivers coming out right around the same time as the 318 of Matthew Catania. Looks like Joe Bennett, maybe a no tire pit stop right there as well, and he's going to roll out onto the racetrack. So, alrighty. So, drivers making their bet here on what they're doing, how they're going to play this one out, and it could get very, very interesting here in a quick hurry. Some drivers taking tires, other drivers not taking tires. How do they put themselves into a winning situation here this evening? And obviously, tire fall off is so intense, that it's so bad. Already a second and a half of tire fall off and only a 31, 32 lap segment of this race. What if we get into a 100-lap, 150-lap run? You really got to time out your caution or your pit stops and trying to time things up here to really help yourself out. But for Joshua Moore, he's got this race lead, and I'm not sure if they're going to call the stage here on this caution or not, or if they're just going to let it go. But nonetheless, Joshua Moore out in front. We'll have to wait and see what it's going to look like for drivers with older tires, the drivers with newer tires, and how they're going to be able to survive out there on the racetrack. Is Mama Bear? What's good, Mama Bear? Susie Dickinson with that heart reaction. Joshua Neal coming in with that thumbs up over there on Facebook as well, coming in, showing that love. As here we go. Going to get ready to set them back loose. Going to get ready to go back to battle here, I guess, nonetheless, as This will complete lap 39. Still 161 laps of racing action left to go here this evening as the pace truck makes the hard left-hand turn, back down pit side, down through the Geico restart zone. Here we go. Look at a little tire spin there at the 0-5. Oh, Catania really had to check up right there. Did not want to run him over. Now you see some more drivers making their way through 3 wide traffic. Oh, baby. Look out, it's on like Donkey Kong as Joshua Moore leads us down the back straightaway into corner number 3. Nice and easy out of corner number 4, looking to try to hold these guys off. If he can get back down across the line and potentially lead us across the line here on lap number 40. Looks like he will, so whether or not that was the stage beforehand that they may have called early, or if the stage ends right there on lap 40 like it should have, Joshua Moore nonetheless going to be out in front leading the way here. As we'll take a look back, looks like Colton Hardy and Rooster are going to run into some issues here. Let's take a look at the 97 ride right here. So we'll take a look at the 97. Oh, there's contact up in front of them. Oh, man, bunch of trucks getting tore up right here. They're 3-4 wide up here trying to set themselves into corner number 3. Take a look at this. That was definitely not going to work at all. Unfortunately, 4 wide here just does not really seem to work out, and that's kind of the position that they were put in. I think Madden thought that the 5 right of Hayden was going to go up a little bit farther. They end up making contact, and all of a sudden it just kind of shoves the 5 right up and into the 3. Then all of a sudden here comes the 46 of Skylar Berry. Berry down across the nose of Rusty Modesty. You take a little look farther back. That's where you see Colton Hardy in the 0-1. They get tied together as Colton's trying to get checked up. He sees this happening. He wants to keep himself from getting tied up in this wreck, and all of a sudden he's just going to get a little sideways. 0-1 gets into him. Then, oh man, pretty heavy hit right there for Rooster as he gets up into the outside fence there pretty head on, and unfortunately, a lot of tore-up race trucks right there. That was a not a fun time for a lot of these drivers as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. And the 51 of Joshua Moore elects to stay out here again. So this is interesting. We didn't see this ride get jacked up or get tires. Let's take a look here. Take a look at Joshua Moore. Let's go back to his pit stop here. I don't believe that this truck got tires on it here. Down into his pit stall here in that beautiful Muhlenberger Custom Homes ride. Yeah, you don't see it getting jacked up at all. Gets fuel, gets gone. You do see the 318 ride getting jacked up, getting a set of tires here. Take a look back at Daniel Down. Did Dow get tires here as well? Yes, does look like that truck does get jacked up. Same with Michael Madden's ride. So, a lot of drivers taking tires there at the end of that first caution flag for Joshua Moore. He's going to try to roll this strategy. It's a bold strategy. If you're a second and a half slower than the rest of these drivers on the fresher tires, man, you can fall back in a quick hurry throughout this field. You could all of a sudden find yourself going all the way back, and if we stay clean and green for another 30, 40, 50 lap run, potentially you're going to go a lap down, or you're going to have to pit during the green flag conditions way earlier than everyone else and put yourself at risk of being, you know, a lap or multiple laps down by making the green flag pit stop. So it's a very interesting strategy here for the 51 ride, but we'll have to wait and see how this kind of plays out for him as he's going to look to just hang on strong, hopefully try to keep himself on the lead lap, maybe catch a timely caution flag where he'll have the better tires and a little longer tire longevity than the rest of these drivers towards the end of this race as Catania in the 318 ride leads the way now as he'll quickly take that race lead away from the 51. Daniel Down now into second. Joshua Moore now back into third here, but he's just trying to hang tough with these guys. Doesn't want to fall back too quickly. Wants to kind of hang with them and hope to see if he can catch another caution flag here in the next, 5-10 laps or maybe even 20 laps if he can hang with these guys for that long. Potentially that could open up the door for him to be, kind of right in the mix of things with the rest of these drivers as Joshua Moore Still in position number 4 and looking for more is Skylar Berry, Clinton Woodby, Joe Bennett right there in position number 7. Matt Hayden back up into the 8th position as Rusty Modesty and Jesse Calloway rounding out our top 10 here on the racetrack. Michael Madden back there in 11th with Nate Cogdell there in 12th as they're trying to work their way around. Oh, look out, maybe a little contact right there, more contact. Oh, baby, slideways on the racetrack. Oh, the 0-0 locks him up, and that will probably bring out the caution flag. There it is, yeah. Caution flag now out on the racetrack as we saw that contact, unfortunately, here for, at first for Rusty Modesty, and honestly, it's a lot of net code right here. Take a look at the 15 ride. He's kind of down low. He's aiming down beneath that 6 ride, and it's just a little bit of net code right there. Unfortunately, just gets this 6 ride's rear end kicked out here, and as that rear end kind of gets around, everyone going to try to either roll out of the throttle to avoid him or try to jump up and out of the way. You see the 0-0 ride of Cogdell. Cogdell's trying to keep himself out of that action. He's trying to get checked up here for the 6 machine, not wanting to run him over or help spin him around. And unfortunately, the 0-1 could not react quick enough. Drives up the track into the back end of the 0-0. That's what's going to get Cogdell slideways here on the racetrack. Ends up making contact right there with Ashley Elson Jr. And then still just trying to get this truck under control. Still sliding sideways. You see Colton Hardy right there with him. Hardy trying to keep himself kind of out of that issue, and all of a sudden they're both going to just kind of get slideways there on the bottom of the racetrack, make a little bit of contact, and that will bring us the caution flag. So another yellow flag, and I do believe that may have been the caution flag that Joshua Moore was looking for, as that's going to bring him down pit road. So Joshua Moore down pit side now. Not going to have a huge advantage, as we didn't really have too many green flag laps on our tires, but it will be a bit of an advantage for him. And at the same point in time, he also doesn't have the track position that he did before, as here we go. We'll get him ready to rock and roll as Tower Operator says, go 51. Joel Moore also says, let's go 51. Cheering on Mr. Joshua Moore here this evening, as Joshua right now, that Muhlenberger Custom Homes 51 ride, back in about the 11th position. Going to get ready for this restart. Going to have some of the fresher tires out there on the racetrack, and going to get ready to try to race his way back up towards the front of the field as for the first few laps of this race. That the 51 was not at the front of the field here. So far, he has been that reflection of perfection, but during that last restart with Matthew Catania, it will steal that race lead away from him. It's our brand new race leader, our second and only other race leader outside of Mr. Moore. It's Matthew Catania here in that 318 machine, going to get ready for this restart, and definitely kind of loving the style of this ride. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's all of the stickers that are on it that like make it look like that cool, like, I don't know, like a skateboard almost. Like I it's like that skateboard kind of look where people usually put like a million stickers on the bottom of a skateboard or on a fridge or something like that. I don't know. It just looks really, really neat to me. I definitely like that paint scheme there. It's pretty cool looking. I love seeing all the logos and everything else on it as we get ready to go back to battle. We get ready to try to see who can put themselves up into victory lane here, as we'll see the green flag fly. 50 laps completed in this race. Still 150 laps left to go. So still a lot of laps left here this evening. Still a lot of time for drivers to try to navigate their way to the front of the field here in this one. Is down and through the Geico restart zone. Here at The Rock, we are back to green flag racing. So cautions breeding cautions. There are a few caution flags back to back to back as we get back to green flag racing. We'll have to wait and see if we can make some good green flag laps here again. We went the first 33 laps or so clean and green, and then a bunch of yellow flags here over the last 15-20 laps, and drivers have definitely picked up the pace, and there's more contact. Look out, the 2 with Daniel Dow and the number 46 of Skylar Berry. They make contact, and we will see the caution flag fly. The caution flag will come back out, as we do see Skylar Berry still running into issues here in that 46 ride. Let's see if we can play this back and take a look at it as Berry and the 2 make contact out of corner number 4. Just good hard racing here for position number 3. Berry sends it in there down low. Unfortunately, gets up a little too high, gets into the door of this 2 ride, and as they make contact here 46 squirrely there makes contact with the 2. They both go sideways down into the infield here, and luckily enough for both these drivers, not major contact or damage there, but as the 46 kind of comes back up and onto the racetrack, I believe that's where he's going to lose the rear end right there as well. Caution flag is going to come out, and that will put us under the yellow flag. Luckily enough, the 3 and the 0-0 able to get by him there without contact, as Skylar Berry is going to bring that caution flag out. So we'll get another yellow flag and another opportunity for drivers to head down pit side. And it's some game time decisions here. Some drivers coming down pit road, other drivers trying to play a little closer to the heart here and what they're going to do and where they're going to go here. As we do see Matthew Catania give up that race lead, comes down pit road. Nick Gardner also down pit side. Michael Madden, Matt Hayden down pit road with Daniel Dow, Keith Prince, and Skylar Berry also coming down pit side. Now this is going to move Joshua Moore back up into position number 4, and he'll be looking for more up here as these drivers down pit side. Now, I don't think any of them are going to get tires. I think this is more of a fuel strategy game plan here for these cats coming down pit road right there. Going to get some fuel into their rides, trying to get them set up here for maybe later in the run. Maybe this will help them out. Maybe this will put them into a position where late in this race they need that extra couple laps, that extra couple gallons of fuel, and maybe they'll have it in their tank. Maybe they'll have enough and put themselves into what could be victory lane, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go here as Clinton Woodby will be our race leader. Rooster Rodden there in second. And we see Jesse Calloway back in position number 3. Joshua Moore there in position number 4. Rusty Modesty, Colton Hardy, the 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. Joe Bennett in the 05 there in 8th, the 00, and Nate Cogdell there in 9th, and Nick Gardner there rounding out our top 10. Is here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing, and Clinton would be electing to use that outside lane here for the restart. So for the 92, he'll start to the outside groove. He'll look to try to find some speed and hope to try to leave the rest of this field back there in their dust. As here we go, getting ready to duke it out here once again, getting ready to go back to battle as we look for Daniel Dow to hopefully try to catch up to this field here. He's quite a bit of ways. Okay, looks like he will catch up to them, so that's a great break there for that 2 ride. Actually, looks like the lights are back on the official iRacing pace truck, so we're going to get another lap under yellow. So another lap here under the caution flag. Going to potentially make it better for fuel mileage, or for some of these drivers to potentially come back down pit road, try to get some extra fuel into their rides. Doesn't look like any takers here, so all right, interesting. We'll get them ready. We'll get them stacked up. Back to battle here in just a couple more moments as lights are still on the official iRacing pace truck. So we're going to get at least another lap, and we'll be right back here after a quick message from our couple of our sponsors here. Let's see if we can get a couple of our sponsored videos up for everyone to enjoy. Alrighty, lights are off the official iRacing pace truck, and we will get ready to go back to green flag racing. As down across the line, when we get going back to green flag battle here this evening, it is going to be 57 laps completed. So about 143 laps left to go here in this race. Now, do we see them stay clean and green for that 143 laps? I don't think we will. I think we're still going to see a couple caution flags, a couple opportunities for drivers to make those non-green flag pit stops, but I could see us putting down some good laps here and potentially putting us into a position where drivers start to come down pit road. It would be really interesting to see these guys having to try to make green flag pit stops here this evening. It'd be cool to see a green flag cycle out there on the racetrack, but nonetheless, we'll continue to keep on battling as here we go back to green flag racing as the 92 of Clinton Woodby sees that green flag fly quickly onto the loud pedal for the 92 ride, and he's looking to try to run away from everybody else. As Woodby at the front of the field, you do see that 51 of Joshua Moore, our pole sitter and our early race leader, quickly around that 4 ride, quickly around the 0-1 of Rooster Rodden, and he is looking to race his way right back to the point here this evening. Didn't take him long, a few caution laps and a couple green flag laps, but here's that 51 of Joshua Moore moving around the outside of Clinton Woodby, and Moore now to the point here at Rockingham once again as they head down Thunder Alley here at the beautiful racetrack this evening for the Metalhead Truck Series. It's Joshua Moore with the race lead. Rooster Rodin now into position number 2 as Clinton Woodby back there in that 3rd position. As Megan White says, let's go Woodby, cheering on this 92 ride as that beautiful winning bid machine rolls there in position number 3. Back in position number 4, you do see that 4 ride. That is Jesse Galloway trying to hold off that QH Designs number 97 as that is Colton Hardy now able to work himself around Callaway up and into that 4th position. So move Hardy into position number 4. Ashley Ellison now around him here as well as Ellison inside the top 5 as we do see Joel Bennett, Jesse Callaway, Nick Gardner, Matt Hayden, Nate Cogdell rounding out our top 10. Matthew Catania back in position number 11. That was our race leader there prior to that last caution flag. And for the 318 machine, now back a little deeper in the field. Gonna have to try to play this strategy out. Hope that it can work into his favor as he came down pit road there. Didn't get tires, but did get some extra fuel into the tank for that 318 ride. And it could be a major difference maker out there on the speedway. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But nonetheless, everyone trying to hunt down this number 51 ride. They've been doing it for most of this race already as Joshua Moore is really led around probably 50 laps of this race. Came down pit road there on lap 48, giving up the race lead. And it took him only probably about 10 laps, 11 laps to jump back out in front here and reconsume his race lead and his dominance here this evening as Joshua Moore out in front now has about an 8/10 of a second lead between himself and the Avenged Sevenfold 0-1 ride. We love the Avenged Sevenfold, man. That was such a great band. Such a great band. So many great songs, man. That is, we love to see Avenged Sevenfold being represented out there on the racetrack, and definitely Avenged Sevenfold forever, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, sirski. As we do see Rooster rolling there in second. He's got himself a pretty sizable gap between himself and Colton Hardy already. About 1.7 seconds between second and third here on the racetrack. So that is a pretty big gap between second and third here on the racetrack. A little farther back, you do see our 4th place driver. That is that Turbo HP 133 machine of Ashley Ellison Jr. Ashley trying to hold off the 0-5 with Joe Bennett. Is Bennett working to the outside here of Ashley, looking to try to take over position number 4. Bennett in the body armor 0-5 ride, rolling to the outside. They're still door to door back here for position number 4 on the racetrack. And as they battle, here comes that number 5 ride of Matt Hayden. Hayden quickly poking his nose into this hunt at the front here as he's trying to get that Toyota, the Cummins ride, up and around that 133 as well. And Hayden now racing his way for the first time this evening inside the top 5. Fell back early on in this race. Looked like he was really trying to save some tire out there on the racetrack. Now, I'm not sure if he took tires for that last pit stop or not, if he's trying to set himself up here for the day. But nonetheless, here he is now inside the top 5 and looking to try to run his way up towards the front of the field. As Ashley Ellison Jr. falls back to 6th. Nate Congdell there in 7th. Matthew Catania back up inside the top 10. Now rolling in that 8th position, trying to work his way around around that 0-0 machine. Nick Gardner right behind him with Michael Madden. They're rounding out our top 10. Unfortunately for Jesse Calloway, Jesse slides all the way back now into the 11th position with Daniel Dow. They're in position number 12. Skylar Berry, Keith Prince, Clinton Woodby back in the 15th position as Woodby really fell back here quickly out there on the racetrack, and that's a tough break from the 92 ride as Rusty Modesty back here in position number 16. Now with these drivers running insurmountably slower, now they're either playing the strategy game of trying to save tires here and just trying to run slower early on in the run, hoping that this goes long and that they can have the better tires on the back half of the run, or potentially these guys have not taken tires yet. The 6th rider, Rusty Modesty, for the number 92 with Clinton Woodby. They both came down pit road on lap 37, but they may not have taken tires. They may have just came down and got fuel into their race trucks, and they may be playing this out where they're on the older equipment, older tires, where everyone else has already burned an extra set up. They may have that extra set in their back pocket for later in this race, but the challenge that they're going to have to face is either green flag pit stops or the potential of potentially going a lap down here to Joshua Moore. As Joshua out in front continues to lead the way, 1.7 seconds the gap between himself and that 0-1 rider, Rooster Rodden. Colton Hardy in position number 3 as Joe Bennett and Matt Hayden right there on his back bumper, rounding out our top 5 is Ashley Ellison Jr. back there at 6, as we do see Catania now back up into position number 7 here. So Catania trying to navigate his way back up into the race leader, potentially back into that 2nd spot here as he started in P2, stayed in P2 for a lot of this race until Joshua Moore came down pit side and he consumed that race lead from 2nd, and then obviously it's got to flip back again here with that last caution flag where he gave up the race lead himself, came down pit road, didn't take tires, but did get fuel into this 318 ride, so can maybe run it out a little bit longer, but not much longer than Joshua Moore, and Moore should have the little bit better tires than him as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of all plays out, how this all figures out for a lot of these drivers and where they're going to put themselves here this evening. In our final finishing order, is there's still a lot of racing left to go, still a lot of laps left as the 51 or more, nice and easy down through corner number 3 and out at corner number 4, back down across the line, we'll click off lap number 74 here this evening. So lap number 74 off the board here today is Moore out in front here by about 2.8 seconds, so he is opening up that lead more and more and more here this evening for Joshua Moore as he hands down into corner number 3, down and out of corner number 4, back down across the line. 75 laps down here in this race, only 125 laps left to go now. That's still quite a bit of time. That's still a lot of laps to be completed here this evening. Still a lot of time for drivers to try to navigate their way up towards the front of the field, run into issues, have tire problems, or potentially have fueling issues, or potentially running out of fresh tires in late in the race, just trying to hang on and keep on racing and not put themselves into too bad of a situation. But nonetheless, it is a tight fight here each and every lap out there on the racetrack for these drivers as these tires continue to fade away lap after lap after lap. They're going to continue to get worse and worse and worse, and we saw that during that first run, about 33 laps before we saw our first caution flag. And during that period of time between that 33 lap run, the tire fall off was about 1.5 seconds. So if we get back into that 30 or so lap run again, we start to get into the unknown territory of that 40 lap run, 50 lap, 60 lap run. What is it going to look like for these drivers? What is it going to look like for their tires, and how they're going to be able to keep themselves pointed the right direction and be able to keep on battling and put down laps where they can stay competitive here on the evening as Joshua Moore continues to lead this race. Moore out in front. The gap is now 3.6 seconds. 3.6 seconds between himself and Rooster Rodden as Rodden rolls there in position number 2. Is Matt Hayden there in 3rd in that Eagle 1 number 5. Ryan Joe Bennett back in position number 4. And Matthew Catania now up inside the top 5. So Catania now into that 5th position here, has been able to race his way through the top 10 there, and now inside the top 5. And he'll look to continue to keep on moving forward as we do see a couple drivers run into issues, and there's the caution flag. Caution flag is going to come out as it looks like Nate Cogdell, and I do believe Michael Madden potentially going to get a little piece of this one as well. But we do see Cogdell sideways there on the racetrack. Let's see if we can take another look back at it, see what happens here to that number 0-0 ride as Cogdell. Not sure if there's contact here at a corner number 4 or not. Does look like it as he's battling here door to door with the 27, and there's a little contact. He tries to catch it. Unfortunately, as he's trying to get that car collected, 133 of Ashley Elson Jr. right there behind him. Ashley really just doesn't have anywhere to go. Doesn't get checked up quickly enough and gets a little contact there with the 0-0, helping him down the racetrack. That's where you see Michael Madden head down into the infield grass there just to help avoid that 0-0 as Cogdell goes for a slide down into the infield grass here, and that's where he's going to come to a stop, and that's where the caution flag will be displayed. So the yellow flag is going to come out. Another yellow flag out there on the racetrack, and another opportunity for us to get things stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing here. As Cogdell going to head down pit side looking to get repairs, and it looks like pretty much everybody outside our top 3 all going to come down pit road right here. So this could be a big moment for a lot of these drivers. Whether or not they're taking fuel, they're taking tires, what is the game plan here? It does look like not a lot of tires going on these trucks. A lot of cats just getting fuel here, rolling back out onto the racetrack. So looks like a lot of drivers taking fuel only, or maybe just getting some repairs done to their race trucks and rolling back out there onto the racetrack. Now that could be a big gap here. That is a big, big gap. That is about 30 lap better fuel mileage, or at least 30 laps of racing action of fuel that Joshua Moore, Matt Hayden, and Joe Bennett do not have. I'm not sure why they did not elect to come down pit road themselves to potentially just get that fuel and help them out, but nonetheless, that's the bet they've made. We'll have to wait and see how this kind of plays out. They didn't really take tires, at least a lot of them didn't, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, as we do see Cogdell still down there, gets that car repaired, gonna roll back out onto the racetrack here, trying to keep himself on that lead lap. Still has a little bit of right rear damage, so we should expect to see him probably back down pit road, getting some more repairs out there on the speedway, as Joshua Moore has this race lead. Matt Hayden there in position number 2. Catania, Joe Bennett are top 4 with the 97 of Colton Hardy right there, rounding out our top 5 as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. Man, this is going to be another crazy restart, another opportunity for drivers to make mistakes, another opportunity for drivers to drive their way up towards the front of the field to put themselves into what could be a winning strategy out there on the speedway. It could come down to fuel. It could potentially come down to tires late in this race if we get a late race restart and drivers have an extra set of tires in their back pocket. We've seen how good the fresh tires are compared to the older tires, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. As here we go, back to green flag racing as the 51 rider Joshua Moore gets a great restart right there. Unfortunately, had his about 4-second gap, his 4-second lead disappear now as these drivers right back to his rear bumper, and that kind of just breathes new life into their eyes as here we go. You see Matt Hayden now going to take a look down to the inside here. He's able to work himself around that 0-5 of Joe Bennett, and now we see Hayden trying to go after Joshua Moore, looking to try to take this race lead away from the what was the mellow yellow 51, but now it's the Muhlenberger Custom Homes 51 right out there on the racetrack, as the 51 rider Joshua Moore did get up, take the outside fence just ever so slightly. Hopefully no major damage there for him, as he's able to continue to hold off Matt Hayden and the rest of this field, as Hayden's trying to stick right there with him this time. Does not want to see that 51 ride get out to such a big lead like he had early in this race, as he was out in front, had a major advantage between himself and the rest of this field here for a lot of this race. And before that last caution flag, had almost 4 seconds between him and these drivers back behind him, so he is definitely a man on a mission, and here he is trying to stretch out that race lead once again as the 51 at the front of the pack. Gonna click off lap number 86, so 86 laps down, 114 laps left to go as Hayden rolls there in position number 2. Joe Bennett back there in 3rd. Matthew Catania, Rooster rode in our top 5 out there on the speedway. Rooster rolls in position number 4 now, working to the outside group of Matthew Catania. Clinton Woodby there in position number 6 now. For the 92 ride, he was one of those drivers that I kind of thought had put tires on. So this could play perfectly into the hands of Clinton Woodby and potentially Rusty Modesty, as I do believe Rusty and Clinton Woodby did not take tires on that first pit stop. That's why they had fallen so far back there during that last run. That caution flag really saved their day as they were able to come down pit road. Even though everyone else did come down pit side and they did get fuel, they did not take tires as they are trying to save a set of tires. So virtually, I do believe for Clinton Woodby and Rusty Modesty, they've probably got about 30 lap better tires than anyone else out there on the racetrack, and they're looking to use them into their advantage right here. And man, Rooster Roden may have them too, as Rooster is able to jump up, take that race lead away from Joshua Moore. So we do get a new race leader as Rooster Roden now out in front. Clinton Woodby up and into second here as here comes some of those fresher tires out there on the racetrack. The 92 now going to the point here as he works down to the inside of that 0-1 machine as the Avenged Sevenfold ride trying to hold off those fresh tires down to his inside. He's not going to have much for him as there he goes. There's Clinton Woodby to the point here on lap number 90. Woodby takes over the race lead. So Clinton Woodby playing the strategy perfectly here, has himself out in front. His counterpart here, same strategy for the 6th rider, Rusty Modesty. Rusty now into position number 3 here on the racetrack, as well as Nick Garner. Garner's right there in this boat as well. He may have had the fresh tire still back there as well. He may have used it to his advantage. And here we go, man. This is the fun part about Rockingham and about the tire strategy game, is when do you use them? When don't you? You know, if you put them on too late, they may help you get a better finish. If you put them on too early, it may hurt your chances of getting a good finish later in a run. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see kind of how this all plays out when we start to see some more of these drivers back behind these guys put their tires on. As right now they should be virtually even on tires. I think everyone now has 2 sets back there behind pit wall. So if you have 2 sets of tires behind pit wall right now, down across the line this time here, it's going to be about 93 laps in. So virtually, if we can make it just over 100 laps into this race, you still have 2 sets of fresh tires back there behind pit wall. When do you use them? When do you use them to your advantage? You come down pit road here around lap 100. If you can make a gas run last 50 laps, 40 laps, I don't know how far we can go. We've had so many caution flags that we can't really see on what a fuel mileage run would look like for these drivers. We know that they can at least make it about 33, 35 laps. So potentially keeping it out there, keeping it rolling. Actually, we do see Joshua Moore, obviously, with some caution laps under his belt there for the 51 ride. He is the last driver out there on pit road. Him and Joe Bennett were the last ones down pit side on lap number 48. So virtually they're getting towards that 50 lap area on a fuel run with some cautions in there as well. So it's all about when you need to come down pit side. And if you have that extra set of tires, it's great to have for late in this race. But if you put yourself into a position where you use that final set too early or potentially too late, that's what we were talking about. You come down pit road, potentially get a new set of fresh tires on, let's say, lap 100. Then you make it to about lap 150. Do you put another set on, or do you wait a little longer and try to get towards the closer end of this race? Maybe even catch a caution flag with 20 laps left to go and put those that final set of tires on and help you potentially pick up the win, or potentially you put them on too early, have the race go green, and you can drive yourself forward that way. And if we do stay clean and green and you don't put those tires on at that point in time, then you may end up finishing the race with an extra set of tires back down behind pit wall and never being able to use them. So it's kind of a high risk, high reward, and you really got to just kind of play that strategy perfectly into your hands to try to put yourself into the winning situation. As the winning bid at 92 rider Clinton Woodby out in front, continue to lead the way. Is down across the line. We'll click off lap number 98 here at the Rock this evening. It's not Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson out there. It is the Rockingham Speedway that these drivers are battling on as they head down Thunder Alley here in Rockingham Speedway. And man, this has been a pretty interesting race. A few caution flags, a few good battles out there on the racetrack, and I think we still got a lot up our sleeve here this evening for each and every one of these drivers, as 99 laps now completed on the day, as Clinton Woodby, Rusty Modesty, Rooster Rodin, the number 27, and Nick Garner are top four, and they got a pretty sizable gap between themselves and our fifth place driver, Joshua Moore. Moore back here in that fifth position. He's back about 5.5 seconds away from our race leaders. You just saw Matt Hayden go for a big slide almost down into the inside fence right there. Luckily enough, able to collect it, able to keep that truck pointed the right direction, but my gosh, that was almost another caution flag for us, and he does lose that sixth position to Matthew Catania. So Catania up and into position number 6 here, as you kind of tell where some of the fresher tires are compared to some of the older tires, as the newer tires are just pulling farther and farther away from those older tires out there on the racetrack right now. It is about a 8.4 second gap between Clinton Woodby and that 51 rider Joshua Moore, and for a lot of these drivers, they got to be very, very cautious, because they may be going a lap down here in a quick hurry. When we look towards the back of the pack, Nate Cogdell, he's only about half a straightaway or so back behind our race leader here, and at a very true risk of potentially going a lap down, Ashley Elson Jr., Colton Hardy, Josh Berry. A lot of these drivers are virtually not too far away from our race leader here, less than half a racetrack back behind them. So you got to be very, very cautious on what you're doing out there on the speedway and how you're going to try to attack this last little bit. The second half of this race is down across the line. We're down to 103 laps completed and only 97 laps left to go in this race. So 97 laps left to duke it out here today, and we inch closer and closer to that checkered flag. Is just over halfway through this race, halfway through this event here this evening, man. And this is gonna be a lot of fun, as it's going to be a great battle, I think, for a lot of these drivers to try to keep themselves out of trouble, as this is the Metalheads Throwback Race presented by JS Designs here at Rockingham Speedway, man. This is a absolutely amazing race. We love all the throwback paint schemes out there, man, and these cars are looking absolutely mint here this evening. And for the drivers, they know that they have only 70% fuel capacity. They have their 3 sets of tires. They've all used up at least one set of those tires already, and with still just under 100 laps of this race left to go, when do you come down pit road? When do you make this move? Do you just hope that you catch a caution flag? Do you hope that you don't have to make a green flag pit stop and then potentially get lapped or a couple laps down, as we do see Jesse Calloway? Calloway does come down pit side, so Callaway's going to be the first tanker here. Comes down pit road, does get fuel, does get 4 fresh tires on that liquid depth number 4 ride, and looks to roll back out there onto the speedway. For Nate Cogdell, he just went a lap down himself here. That's a tough break there for Cogdell, as the Carolina Collision ride does go a lap down, now back into the 15th position. Definitely not a spot that he wanted to be, but potentially, if we do see a caution flag fly, he could be in that lucky dog spot, could get the wave around back on the lead lap. You just got to hope that more drivers do not fall a lap behind him here this evening, as Clinton Woodby continues to march on here and march forward. Is now, here we go, Matt Hayden. He's going to make his green flag pit stop. So Hayden heads down pit road here in that 5 ride. So Matt Hayden down pit side here in that number 5 machine. Now, they're going to have a bit better tires. They're going to be running some really good laps with their fresh tires here. The thing is how much time do they give up? How much time does it really affect them? And do they get caught here in the middle of a pit cycle? As here we go, Joshua Moore now down pit road here himself. So Moore heads down pit side. So we see Moore and Matt Hayden, some of our front runners, coming down here a little bit earlier than everybody else. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out for them, as they are both now a lap down, as there goes Clinton Woodby around them right there on the racetrack. So Woodby is going to put them a lap down. I do believe even 2 laps down here for Matt Hayden. So 2 laps down for Matt Hayden. For Joshua Moore, here he is at the front of his pit stall. Here comes Clinton Woodby, though, down and out at corner number 4. Does Joshua Moore fall 2 laps down as well, as it does seem like that's probably about how far you're going to fall behind here. And really, for these drivers, that's a tough spot to be in. If some of these drivers that were down pit road on lap number 81, if they can make it another 20, 30 laps here on this fuel run, and even if they give up time, if you don't get yourself back to 1 lap down or even back onto the lead lap, you're going to be trapped a lap or 2 laps down out there on the racetrack, and that is not going to be a fun day. As here we go, we do see Catania now down pit side, Joe Bennett also down pit road, getting ready to come back out onto the racetrack there for Joe, as you do see Catania heading down into his pit stall here, the HTB machine, and he gets a little too far in there. Quickly realizes that, throws it in reverse, so doesn't lose too much time out of that 318 ride, but able to keep on getting that service done, and the crew's going to work trying to get this car fixed up and back out there, as there goes our race leader on around him here, as you do see a few more drivers have fallen a lap down to Clinton Woodby. That's Colton Hardy, Ashley Ellison Jr., both a lap down here as well. Unfortunately, that will move Nate Congdale out of that free pass position here this evening. Skylar Berry potentially the next driver to go a lap down here to Clinton Woodby, as Woodby not too far away from putting Berry a lap down here this evening as well. As right now, Clint Woodby, he's got about a 4-second gap between himself and our second place driver, Nick Gardner, as Gardner rolls back there in position number 2. Rusty Modesty there in position number 3, with Rooster Rodden there in position number 4. Being back in position number 5 here, and even farther back, about 18 seconds behind our race leader is Keith Prince. So our top 4 drivers were down pit road, got fresh tires on lap 81. They had the freshest tires out of everybody there by quite a few laps. But now they're going to have the less fresh tires, and they're also going to be running quite a bit slower than the guys that just came out of pit lane here, like that's 51 ride of Joshua Moore. Moore has just raced his way back around Clinton Woodby, gave himself a lap back, and is now only scored as, I do believe, 1 lap down, actually. Yes, he is scored as only 1 lap down out there on the racetrack. So that's a great break there for Joshua Moore. So that gives him contention for the wave around back onto the lead lap, or potentially the lucky dog, the free pass, if he can work his way up there. But for right now, not a lot of other drivers giving themselves laps back or putting themselves back into a better situation here. And now we do see one of our lap down drivers now making their way down pit side. It's Colton Hardy. So Hardy, who's already a lap down, going to come down pit side here, unfortunately for the 97 ride. More than likely about to go 3 laps down by the time he rejoins this race. And for all these drivers that are still on the lead lap right now, we got about 8 drivers still on the lead lap here this evening, as you do see the fresh tires of that Eagle 1 Valvoline number 5 ride of Matt Hayden, able to work himself around our race leader Clinton Woodby. Now this is just showing you the fresh tires compared to the older tires out there on the racetrack, and really, they're not much older tires. Matt Hayden came down pit road on lap 107, virtually about 28 laps, 26 laps after the 92 ride, so 26 lap better tires, and you can see how much quicker they're running compared to that 92 ride. But I think even for Clinton Woodby and a lot of these drivers up inside our top 4 with the newer tires compared to Keith Prince, Daniel Dow, Michael Madden, Skylar Berry, I think they're just kind of taking it easy out there. I think they're trying to save some of their equipment, trying to make sure that their tires can last a little bit longer here, where the drivers that are now a lap or 2 laps down or even 3 laps down here, when you see that 318 ride of Catania and all these other guys steamrolling around them there, burning up their equipment a little bit more than our race leader. Now, they may be able to lead Franco, but if a caution flag comes out, it's still going to be an advantage to that 92 ride. And if they can ease off the throttle, save some fuel, save some tire here, they could potentially make it quite a bit later in this race. Come down pit road, put their fresh set of tires on, and have the roles reversed late in this race, but also at the same point in time could potentially have that extra set of tires back behind pit wall to their advantage, where they could just, late in the race, get a caution flag, 10, 15 laps left to go. They put them on. Everyone else is out of tires. They're just going to run away with it. So there's a lot of different game plans here for a lot of different drivers. We do see Michael Madden, Daniel Dow, also down pit road. Here comes Skylar Berry, down pit side and hands UPS number 46 ride, as Clinton Woodby continues to lead this race. Woodby out in front, has about a 5-second gap between himself and Nick Gardner. Rusty Modesty there in position number 3. Rooster Rodham back there in position number 4. And Keith Prince all the way back in position number 5 here on the racetrack. He's the next driver to potentially go a lap down as our race leader. Not too far away from him here from putting that number 3 machine of Keith Prince a lap down out there on the racetrack. And that's a tough spot to be if you're that 3 machine. But nonetheless, these guys continue to keep on battling, keep on charging out there on the racetrack. You take a look at the driver like Joshua Moore here. Joshua, he's in this hunt to the front here, trying to put himself into a good position. You see the 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. here as well. Ashley, unfortunately, already a lap or a couple laps down here in that 133 ride, and just trying to hang on, hope to get a caution flag, as I do believe right now Ashley is in that lucky dog position, the wave around spot, where if we see that caution flag, could get the wave around back onto the lead lap for drivers like Joshua Moore, Nate Cogdell, Matt Hayden, Catania, Jesse Calloway. All these drivers are probably going to have to take a wave around here to get themselves back onto the lead lap and potentially put themselves back into this battle. Some drivers may even be 2-3 laps down, where a wave around will still trap them a lap or 2 laps down. So it's going to be a tough fight here and a uphill battle for a lot of these drivers as the laps continue to get clicked down. As this time down through quarter number 3 and 4, here comes our race leader. So Clinton Woodby says, you know what, not going to wait any longer. I'll head down pit side. That should give him virtually about 10 laps, 15 lap better tires than a lot of these drivers. When you look back at like drivers like Daniel Dow or Michael Madden, they're going to have a little bit better tire than Clinton Woodby, but honestly, not better, but they'll have a little bit less tire, still closer to Clinton, but they were a lap down before they came down pit side here. So Clint Woodby still on the lead lap. We do see the 27 rider, Nick Garner, though, is going to stay out. So Gardner stays out for at least another lap. He's going to lead the way here. We'll have to wait and see if he elects to come down pit road this time, as he stays out on the racetrack. Leading us down Thunder Alley here, has about 3 seconds between himself and Rusty Modesty. As Modesty rolls back there in position number 2. Is what's good, Rodney? Rodney coming in, showing the love. Rodney says, good evening, Peacemaker. Good evening, Rodney. How are you, brother? How you doing this evening? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Monday here in this evening, man. Hopefully everyone's having themselves a wonderful Monday, as and some great racing, some great battles out there on the racetrack, and a lot of great strategies being played out by each and every one of these drivers. The strategies trying to be played out, trying to set themselves up here for a late race run, or potentially just trying to put themselves into a winning situation, man. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, as we do see Nick Garner continuing to lead the way here. Rusty Modesty there in second. Rooster Rodden and Keith Prince rounding out our top 4 here on the racetrack. And now we do see Prince head down pit road. So Keith Prince down pit side from position number 4. That should cycle the 51 rider Joshua Moore back up into the 4th spot on the racetrack. But you take a look back behind him, the 92 ride. So Clinton Woodby, with such a good lead, with such a good car there during that last run, and then coming down pit side when he did, virtually, if things cycle back through, he will probably be behind the 51 rider Joshua Moore. Moore would be our race leader, but it's probably not going to be for long here, as the 92 ride does have virtually, I don't even know what that is, 17 lap better tires than Joshua Moore out there on the racetrack. So a huge advantage tire-wise there for the 92 ride over the 51 of Joshua Moore, and that could put Clinton Woodby right back out in front. As here we go, we do see Rooster Rodin and Rusty Modesty now head down pit side themselves here on lap at number 130, and only one driver left to make green flag pit stops here this evening, and it's this 27 rider, Nick Garner. Garner still out in front here, continuing to lead the way. Obviously trying to play this strategy a little bit longer here, hoping to maybe catch these drivers all a lap down here, put himself into the best position here on the racetrack. We'll have to wait and see if we catch a caution flag right now after, he just put a couple more drivers, Rusty and Rooster, down a lap here. Right now, he's the only driver on the lead lap, down across the line, the only driver to complete 32 laps here this evening. Everyone else back behind them, just completing lap 31, lap 130, lap 129. And for the 27 ride, being at the front of the field, if a yellow flag were to fly, all these drivers back behind him will take the wave around or get the lucky dog and get back onto the lead lap, which is a great break for them. They'll be back into contention. They'll be back on the lead lap here. But for those drivers, they will not have the freshest tires. They will not have the freshest tires. They will not have the most fuel, as they won't be able to come down pit side here this evening. As you do see, Clinton Woodby has already worked his way around Joshua Moore. So Moore still back in what is virtually position number 2 after the pit cycle, but really scored back in that third spot as Joshua slides back into the third position. It's Clinton Woodby who's going to be potentially back as our race leader here, as he does go around Nick Gardner. Gardner on the older tires, Clinton Woodby on the newer tires, and that puts Nick Gardner now is not the only driver one lap down. Clinton Woodby now puts himself back onto the lead lap. Joshua Moore right there ready to pounce as well. Potentially could put himself back here as well onto the lead lap, and that's exactly what he does. And now here comes the 0-0. A lot of other drivers that are on fresher tires trying to steamroll around Nick Gardner, and if Gardner can work his way down pit side here in this one and not lose too many laps or give himself an opportunity to catch this caution flag, man, it could be virtually the winning strategy here this evening. We'll have to wait and see, though, as you just never know. You never know when another yellow flag's going to come out, and virtually we've stayed clean and green since about lap number 83. So a lot of green flag laps. This is the longest run we've had of green flag racing. These drivers have been doing an absolutely fantastic job here midway through this race, but you just never know when it's going to strike. You never know when a problem will arise and issues will happen out there on the racetrack. You do see Matthew Catania. He's looking to race his way back onto the lead lap as he looks to get around that 27 right at Nick Gardner. So Gardner will slide there a little farther back as the 318 machine will make the pass on him there and put himself back on the lead lap. So our race leader, Nick Gardner, now has 4 drivers on the lead lap here, and this is just making his case a little bit worse and worse and worse here as these drivers get back onto the lead lap and as they continue to pull away and actually start to catch him more and more for what could be the race lead. That could put him a lap or 2 laps down, but here he comes. He finally comes down pit side here, so I think he realizes that if he doesn't make this green flag pit stop at this point in time, that more than likely he would go probably 2 laps down or be a little too far out where he could all of a sudden get tracked into that 2 lap down area where he does not want to have that happen. He wants to make sure he either stays as 1 lap down or still on the lead lap or somewhere around there. So he does come down pit side. That will forfeit the race lead back over to Clinton Woodby. So Woodby back out in front has that race lead and has about a 6-second gap between himself and Joshua Moore. So a big gap there for Clinton Woodby. About 6 seconds between first and second out there on the racetrack. And we'll keep an eye on the number 27 right at Nick Gardner. Gardner is back out onto the racetrack here. So Nick slides back out onto the speedway. That's an awfully quick pit stop there for Nick Gardner. Let's take a look back here. He does head into his pit stall. I'm not sure if he got fuel only right there. This is a bold strategy, getting fuel only. Doesn't look like any tires going on to this 27 ride. Yeah, it looks like fuel only. Slides back out onto the racetrack here. So a big strategy call right there for the 27. He's now scored in the 8th position, still on the lead lap, which is a great break for him, but really, Clinton Woodby not too far away from potentially putting him and a lot of other drivers still, again, a lap down out there on the racetrack. Michael Madden, the next driver to potentially go a lap down here. Him and Jesse Galloway nose to tail. Our race leader, Clinton Woodby, about a corner away from potentially lapping those guys as this race continues to heat up. Things continue to keep on staying exciting here this evening as out in front, Clinton Woodby, some of the best tires out there on the racetrack, has the biggest lead over a lot of these drivers, and out in front now by 8 seconds is down across the line. 142 laps completed and about 58 laps left to go here in this race as we're going to jump into our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session out here at the Rock. It's the Rockingham Speedway here this evening. And out in front leading this race, it is that 92 rider, Clinton Woodby. So far, the strategy's played out perfectly into the hands here for that 92 ride, I do believe, as we start to get into some more green flag pit stops, more and more drivers heading down pit road, getting some tires and everything else, getting fuel into their rides. It's got Clinton once again at the front of the field here with a massive lead. He is about 17 seconds. That is absolutely insane. 17 seconds in front of our second place driver, Rooster Ronin, right now. Rusty Modesty back there in third, a little farther back, as our race leader, Clinton Woodby, is absolutely just shot out of a cannon here this evening. Daniel Dow, who's in fourth, is a lap down. Keith Prince back there in fifth, also a lap down. So Michael Madden in position number 6. Now, we did see Joshua Moore, Matthew Catania, Nick Gardner, Nate Cogdell all make pit stops here, and for Joshua Moore, he's currently 2 laps down back here in this number 51 ride. He's trying to hunt down our race leader. It actually looks like he has already caught him and put himself back to only 1 lap down. So that is a great break there for the number 51 right now, being the virtual first car on fresh tires to be only 1 lap down out on the racetrack and continue to keep on battling. But for Clinton Woodby, he's kind of got this one teed up here. Even if he comes down pit road right now, he can't make it on fuel, so he does have to make 1 more pit stop. I do believe for the 92 ride that he does have a fresh set of tires still back there behind pit wall. I'm not sure about Rooster Ronin or Rossi Modesty, but I'm sure that each of these drivers still have fresh tires back there behind pit wall. And now coming down pit side for our race leader, down across the line after lap 170 here. So he's going to have virtually about 10 laps, 12 lap better tires than a lot of these drivers back behind him here. And it'll be interesting to see where he comes out of the pits and potentially where he ends up being able to run and how much quicker he may be with the extra 10 laps or so over some of these other drivers, as we do see Joshua Moore around him that will put him back on the lead lap, as we do see Rooster Ronin. Ronin's going to get the race lead. Keith Prince will jump up and into second here as Rusty Modesty down pit road. Michael Madden also down pit side. But for Clinton Woodby, here he comes rolling back out onto the racetrack. Joshua Moore just heading down into corner number 1 and 2. And it looks like Clinton Woodby, even after making that pit stop, will stay in front of the drivers that had already pitted and the drivers that were potentially going to be at risk of stealing this win away from him. But now with the better tires, better fuel mileage, everything else for the 92 ride and that race lead, he's got about 4 seconds still between himself and Joshua Moore. So he is sitting in cloud 9 right now, able to just run away from those guys. His biggest threats now would be Rooster Ronin or Keith Prince, but as he came down pit road, Prince was already a lap down to that 92 ride, and Rooster Ronin had 17 seconds separating himself and Clinton Woodby. So somehow or another, the 0-1 ride somewhere is going to have to try to make up 17 seconds out there on the racetrack to Clinton Woodby, biting a caution flag here late in this race. And I think as of right now, the only driver that potentially has 1 set of tires left over is Nick Gardner. We saw Gardner come down pit road around lap 130-ish or so, and he took fuel only. We thought that was a very odd thing for him to do. He ended up coming back down pit side on lap 146. Got fuel and tires. He ended up going 2 laps down there throughout that run, but now that everyone else has made an additional pit stop, it's put him back onto the lead lap. But now he does have the older tires and a lot of the older equipment, and for this 27 ride, he currently sits at about that 6th position. If Rooster Ronin and these guys do come down pit road, it should get him back onto the lead lap as well, where if we see a late race caution flag, he may be that one driver that could come down pit road, put a fresh set of tires on, and potentially just drive his way up and through the field here. So we'll have to wait and see what happens for Nick Gardner. But as of right now, it is the 92 ride's race to lose for Clinton Woodby. He's sitting in the best position here. Has 5 seconds between himself and Joshua Moore. Moore's got about 3 seconds between himself and Matthew Catania. Nick Gardner a little farther back there in position number 6. Modesty back in position number 7. Now Modesty, he was right around Rooster Ronin again before making his pit stop here. And now for Rusty, he is still about 19 seconds back behind Clinton Woodby. Now the decent benefactor here, I guess, for Rooster is that when he comes back out, he'll have the freshest tires and he'll be one of the faster cars out there on the racetrack. But unfortunately for him, he's giving up more and more time, so he may be a lap down to Clinton Woodby by the time he comes back out onto the racetrack. You'd have to make up that entire lap and still be able to try to figure out how to pass him and get in front of some of these other drivers. And he's running out of time in a quick hurry as he's out in front, not coming down pit side this time. It will click off lap number 178. So I'm not sure if he's just trying to stretch out this fuel as long as he can, hoping to see a caution flag. If he could catch a yellow, that would trap about everyone from 6 on back. At least a lap down or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack, and could set himself up with some fresh tires late in this race and put him into a very good position. But we've been clean and green here now for a very long time, almost going towards 100 laps of green flag racing, and that's exactly what we want to see. We want to see these good long green flag runs here, but I think for right now, for a driver like Rooster running for almost Nick Garner back here in that 27 ride, to catch a caution flag would be a big game changer. I think for Nick Garner, he needs Rooster to come down pit road. He's ahead of Keith Prince, but with Rooster still in front of him, he is still a lap down, and unfortunately, that still gives the lucky dog to potentially Rusty Modesty here, so he at least needs Rusty to get up and in front of that 0-1 ride, but then he's got to be careful of the 0-5 potentially getting around him here and keeping him not in that lucky dog position. So we'll have to wait and see kind of how this one plays out with only 20 laps left to go. This time by the start-finish line, 19 laps left to go in this race. Is Rooster running? Does he have enough fuel to make it to the end? Can he make it 70 laps here on a green flag stint without having to come down pit road here this evening? If you take a look back at Keith Prince kind of in the same boat, was down pit road on lap 128. So it could get very close for a lot of these drivers on how far they can take a fuel run. And if Rooster can save enough fuel but still try to keep that gap, unfortunately he's running so much slower here, giving up about a second or better a lap to Clinton Woodby. Clinton's hunting him down in a quick hurry. Here comes that 92 ride. He's actually going to maneuver around the 5 ride of Matt Hayden. That will lap Matt Hayden out there on the racetrack. So even after Rooster comes down pit road, and here he comes, Rooster Rodden does come down pit side. So Rooster down pit road here in the 0-1 ride, making his final pit stop of the day for a driver like Clinton Woodby. Clinton Woodby is so far out in front here, with Keith Prince also coming down pit side this time. There's not going to be a lot of drivers left on the lead lap here, ladies and gentlemen. Not a whole lot of drivers left in contention here this evening. A whole lot of drivers on the lead lap, and that's going to make things very interesting for late in this race. Do we see that late race caution flag, or do we see it stay clean and green down to the check crew flag? Only time will tell. Is down across the line here. That is going to be only, what is that, 16 laps left to go in this race. 16 more laps of racing action. We're getting this one clicked down in a quick hurry here. Got off to a bit of a slow start there with a few caution flags throughout that 50 lap period between lap 33 and virtually lap 80. We saw quite a few caution flags, but since then it's been nothing but clean and green racing, and these drivers have been doing a fantastic job as the 0-0 is just down pit road. He is now got the fresher tires here. He's going to race his way around that 92 ride, give himself a lap back, and you do see the 27 though. That is the 27 ride of Nick Gardner. Nick Gardner desperately needs a caution flag here in the next couple laps, as that's going to put him a lap down here with the 92 right on his back bumper. And for our 6th place driver, Nick Gardner, he will go a lap down. So that's a tough break right there for Nick, as Nick falls back a lap here to the 92 ride of Clinton Woodby, but then does put Nick Gardner into the lucky dog position. So if you can get a caution flag still, could potentially put himself back onto the lead lap, but it won't last for long, as the 0-5 ride of Joe Bennett, the next driver to potentially go a lap down out there on the racetrack. Now for Joe, he is in that 5th position, which is absolutely crazy to think of, man, that our 5th place driver about to lose a lap here to our race leader. But that just shows you how good Clinton Woodby has been all day long, as he is out in front by about 10 seconds between himself and this 318 machine. That is 3:18 ride, Matthew Catania in position number 2. Joshua Moore back there in position number 3 with Rusty Modesty there in position number 4. Joe Bennett, who just went a lap down, back there in that 5th position. Gardner there in 6th. No longer in contention for that lucky dog here this evening with Matt Hayden, Daniel Dow, Michael Madden, Jesse Calloway. Our top 10 out there on the racetrack. Keith Prince back in 11th with Colton Hardy there in position number 12. Nate Congdale in the 13th position here with Ashley Ellison Jr., Rooster Rodden, Skylar Berry, and Bruce Bernard rounding out our field as Clinton Woodby continues to lead the way. This time nice and easy down through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4. It will be 10 laps left to go here this evening in the JS Designs throwback race here with the Metalheads Truck Series at the Rockingham Speedway as Dr. Daddy or Daddy Duck says number 46 is dead for the night. That's a tough break there for Skylar Berry as Berry's taking the UPS ride back down behind pit wall. Looks like his night is done and unfortunately scored back in that 16th position. Not a spot you want to be, but unfortunately for him, that's where he's going to wind up here tonight. Tough race, tough battles out there on the racetrack, and unfortunately for the 46, not the night he wanted to have, that is for certain, as out in front for Clinton Woodby, definitely the night that he drew up here. So far, strategy's been on point, man. This car has been absolutely perfect. This guy has been absolutely minty out there on the speedway. And for Clinton Woodby right now, he's got himself about a 12-second lead. He's kind of just on cruise control here at the front of the field, even out of the rest of the top 3. When you look at Matthew Catania, Joshua Moore, they have older tires. They're 8 laps, 11 lap older tires than Clinton Woodby. So they are not catching him. They are not hunting him down. They got much older tires running much slower lap times. Even when you look back at our 4th place driver, Rusty Modesty, Rusty also came down pit road on lap 170, so virtually has equal tires to Clinton Woodby, but he's about 19-20 seconds back behind of our race leader. So no major threat right now. Only 4 cars left on the lead lap. He's got virtually the same amount of tire or better tires than the drivers around him. For even a late race caution flag, he's still going to be feeling pretty good. I think the only driver that could potentially give him a run for his money would be probably either Keith Prince or potentially Nate Cogdell. No, I'm going to say probably Keith Prince here, as we did see Rooster run on the same game plan there as Keith Prince, but unfortunately for Rooster, I believe a pit road penalty there for the 0-1 run held him down pit road for an extended lap or 2, and he is now 2 or 3 laps down, and that's taken him out of this race. And for a lot of these other drivers, they have not been in this race for a long time, but a caution flank could definitely give them some wave arounds, some lucky dogs, potentially get them back into the action. And for a driver like Nick Gardner, who may still have a extra set of tires back behind pit wall, if he can use them here late in this race with a yellow flag and maybe catch another couple yellows, and he can race his way up there and put himself into contention. But he's running out of options in a quick hurry here as the 92 rider Clinton Woodby. Last time around the line, it was 4 laps left to go. He's now headed down Thunder Alley here with just under 3 more attempts here for someone to try to catch him here. Just a little over 3 more laps left to go, but this time by the start finish line, there goes lap 1, number 97. 3 more laps in this race. 3 more laps left here this evening. The gap is 13 seconds between first and second. 13 seconds out there on the racetrack. Virtually just over half of this racetrack. Joshua Moore a little farther back there in 3rd. Rusty Modesty even farther back there in position number 4. He is now back about 21 seconds behind Clinton Woodby. Woodby could potentially even put that 6 right A lap down here this evening, as the strategy game is played out perfectly here for the 92, and with only a couple laps left to go in this race, he storms down Thunder Alley back straightaway here into corner number 3. Nice and easy down and out of corner number 4. And this time by the start-finish line, we will see that white flag fly. So one more time around Rockingham Speedway for Clinton Woodby on a night that's been all him here. Some early strategy, some early game plans worked out perfectly for him, and has put himself since that point into the best position out there on the racetrack. And for the 92 run, after taking the race lead on lap number 90, he has been that truck to beat, and here he is down across the line and picking up the checkered flag here this evening in the Metalheads Truck Series. JS Designs throwback race winner here this season, winning that throwback race in the winning bid 92 ride. Clinton Woodby with a dominating race, dominating performance, virtually 14 seconds between himself and Matthew Catania, as Catania comes home in position number 2. Joshua Moore about 16 and a half seconds behind our race leader, will finish there in 3rd. Rusty Modesty back in position number 4, about 22 seconds behind our race leader, Joe Bennett. First car 1 lap down, Bennett comes home in that 5th position, but it's all the winning bid 92 ride as Clinton Woodby gets to celebrate here this evening at Rockingham Speedway as he picks up the checkered flag. Here at beautiful Rockingham racetrack, man, the beautiful throwback paint scheme here for that 92 ride, and Clinton Woodby going to celebrate here this evening, man. Strategy played out absolutely perfect here this evening. Dominating second half of this race and dominating performance here strategy-wise for that 92 ride. Obviously having the best tires out there on the racetrack for majority of that last half of the race. It's worked out perfectly for him and allows him to drive home, cruise control to victory lane here with a 14-second lead. No pressure anywhere around him on his back bumper, and just able to take it easy breezy up and into victory lane. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's see some congratulations up in the chat right now for Clinton Woodby as he captures tonight's victory here at the Rockingham Speedway. We'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews. Post-race interviews about to come up here in just a few more moments as Clinton Woodby, Matthew Catania, Joshua Moore, our top 3, ready to jump up here into the booth with us as you do see the 92 into victory lane here at the Rockwell victory lane, and we'll get ready to see if we can get him up here into the booth for his post-race interview. We have to drag him in here ourselves. There he is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for the Misfits Motorsports 92 ride. Clinton Woodby as Woodby picks up the checker flag and puts himself up and into victory lane. Let's get him here into the booth. Hey, Clinton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Clinton, man, what a run, what a race, man. Take us back through this one. It's obviously the tire strategy, fuel strategy, everything works out perfectly here for you tonight, as it looked like during that first caution flag and the first few yellows out there on the racetrack. We said come down, get fuel, but you didn't take any tires. You kept saving them until around lap 80 there, where we saw another caution flag. And perfectly timed. You come down, you put a fresh set on. It looked like you and Rusty Modesty and a few other drivers were kind of on that same strategy, and you guys take advantage of it. Drive your way up to the front of the field here. You start to open up a massive, massive lead, and then we start to see all these other drivers that had already used the setup starting to come down pit side, and slowly but surely you're just able to come down pit road at 10, 15 laps after they do, continuously have the race lead, continuously have the better tires where they weren't catching you, and it leads to a 14-second victory here at Rockingham and parking that ride up and into victory lane. Man, take us back through what's going to go through your mind right now as this race has come to a close and you're able to capture a dominating win here this evening.
I feel like I finally got redemption here. I had a decent lead here last year before last in a different league, and a caution come out, and I took tires, and it screwed me. So this time, strategy call kind of got me the win. Just took a little longer and played out a little longer and happened a little earlier. Me and Rusty, we were just hoping and praying a caution would come out when it did. I feel like we just had the voodoo doll in the right spot tonight because we were probably 15 laps away from having to pit because we were going to be losing so much time compared to the leaders when everyone pit. I didn't expect everybody to really pit that early and take their tires yet. I thought they'd wait a little longer, especially having, a decent row of cautions throughout the race there at back to back. So once I got the lead, I just drove as hard as I could. Rusty kept asking me what I did differently, and I'm like, dude, I don't know. I'm just not looking back. I'm trying to go as far ahead as I can.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what you did, just continuously opening up that lead more and more and more, even with drivers that came down pit road, had the better tires there, were trying to kind of leapfrog you between pit stops, and even during that last green flag pit stop for you, Joshua Moore had the better tires there, he was catching you and trying to get himself obviously back onto one lap down, but you were still so far ahead of him that as you came down pit road, you came back out onto the racetrack and had virtually a 4-second lead above him and had the, 11 lap, 12 lap better tires than that 51 ride in. And that kind of just sealed it right there. Seeing that you were out in front of him, out in front of Catania, had the better tires than those guys, finding a caution flag, there was really no one else that was going to be able to compete with you here this evening besides your teammate, Rusty Honesty.
Yeah, there at the end, but when Rooster was running it long, I just knew there was going to be a caution within the last 15 laps. And Matt, I don't know if Matt was just screwing with me or if it was actually happening, but he was going crazy on the mic, and I was like, I'm about to cry. I don't even know how to react right now.
Yeah, well, unfortunately there for Rooster ended up with a penalty down pit road and ended up multiple laps down there. So Canento came out of contention late in this race. I think other than Rusty being on the same tire game plan as you, I don't think anyone else even there inside the top bunch we're going to be able to get back onto the lead lap, even taking waiver rounds or lucky dog. I don't think they would have been in contention to battle with you there late in this race, but I mean, anything can happen. But one driver that I was a little worried about there was that 27 right of Nick Garner. Seemed like Nick may have still had a set of fresh tires back there behind pit wall, and he was banking on that late race caution flag there to try to use them, and especially before that little bit of a gap, that little bit of a period where he was kind of back onto the lead lap until you caught him and passed him and put him a lap down, and then he was still kind of in that lucky dog position where it could have still helped him with that caution flag, but obviously no yellow flags coming out, never gave him a chance to get that extra set of tires on, and never worked out for him, but it works out perfectly here tonight for yourself as you're able to just drive this truck up and into victory lane. Cruise control here over the last 20 laps. Obviously a nervous 20 laps or so there late in the race, but knowing that you had such a big lead, you were just putting more and more drivers a lap down. By the time you picked up this checkered flag, there was only 4 drivers left on the lead lap here this evening, and they were a long distance back there behind you.
Yeah, I don't consider myself that fast of a driver, but if fresh tires make me look that good, then I'll take it.
Hey, brother, you got to take them when they come. And for tonight, it worked out absolutely perfectly for you and put yourself up into victory lane here in our throwback race, man. Take us back through the paint scheme right here for the winning Bid 92 ride.
Oh yeah, so I just kind of look up the number 92 and look for inspiration that way, just see who's had it before. Because I always try to stick with the number matching whatever the scheme was instead of running like a Richard Petty paint scheme was number 92 or whatever. So I try to stick with whatever the number is, and found this one, and I've always been a Harvick fan, and me and Colton, when he started to work on it, we could not find reference pictures whatsoever. I think he found one, so he made it off of one, so I can't thank him enough for that because it looks amazing. I actually won the paint contest today, so 2 for 2. I'll take it.
Absolutely, man. That doesn't make any better of a day, man. It's a perfect day. Absolutely batting 100 here this evening. And for the 92 ride up and into victory lane to finish off the night, Clinton, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great drive here this evening?
Shout out to my girlfriend Megan. She's my number one supporter. Uh, Teammates Rusty and Matt helping strategize everything. I usually think of a random strategy that's not going to work, and they talk me out of it. So I could thank them enough for that. And Lindsay Fitzmaurice Racing, and you guys for the stream.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Clinton, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening, brother. Congratulations on capturing tonight's victory here at Rockingham, and we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack for our regular season finale next Monday.
Appreciate it. Also, shout out to Blair Peterson, winning Bid Diecast. Can't believe I forgot him.
Beauty. All right, Clinton, enjoy the rest of your night, brother.
Appreciate it. You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Clinton Woodby, as Woodby comes home in the top spot here, claiming tonight's victory, claiming tonight's best throwback paint scheme as well, as we get ready to pull in our second place finisher, Matthew Catania. Catania waiting down pit side. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Matthew, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Hey man, what's up?
Not much, Matthew, man. Solid run, solid drive here all evening long. You were kind of in that second or third position, it seemed like, for most of this race, finding the green flag pit stops and those cycles and everything else. And just seemed like you had a really fast truck. Obviously, just different pit strategies, tire strategies, and it almost works out for you, but not quite as good as what it did for Clinton Woodby, as it seemed like he just had the perfect strategy here tonight and able to use it to his advantage to pick up the big victory here this evening. What was kind of going through your mind there in this race?
Yeah, man. Biggest part going into this race was just managing my tires. I knew this place eats tires and fall off sucks. That was my biggest strategy going into it. I knew we were gonna all pit stage, get some tires there, and try to stretch out 2 runs and try to make the last run work. But I just kind of just as the cautions progressed, I tried to hit the cautions right. Um, because I just trying to figure out when we'd have a nice run where it would matter, and I just don't think I hit it right. Uh, it sucks, but no, we were definitely fast tonight. We were up front most of the race and was able to hang on with everybody. Uh, Woodby was fast. He was fast, and he was on the right strategy there.
Yeah, absolutely. Right strategy, right timely caution flags there midway through this race for him, and it all works out for the 92 ride, but still showing that you had a good strategy yourself. Good car there. We saw you obviously late in this race, battling there with Joshua Moore, able to steal that second spot away from him, man. Take us through some of the battles there between you and Josh as early on in this race. It looked like it was going to kind of come down between you two, and would be kind of just snaked his
Yeah.
way into it.
Yeah, I knew coming into it. I raced with Joshua when the officials came here, and he was always fast. I knew he was going to be one of the ones to beat. He out qualified me by like half a tenth and had a great pace to start the race. And I felt like I was closing in on him there the second half of the stage. Just burn him up when I hit that wall and got sideways. Uh, but yeah, I knew he was going to be the one to beat. It kind of felt nice to be able to track him down and steal that second place spot because like I said, I knew I wanted to beat him because I knew he's good here. But yeah, Woodby kind of came out of nowhere with that. I knew he was fast, but I just hadn't raced around him that much until he got the lead. So
Yeah, absolutely. Worked out perfectly for him and brings you home here in position number 2, about 14 seconds back behind him as he was on cruise control there at the front of the field. You were able to jump up and slide your way into position number 2. Matthew, who'd you like to thank for a great run here this evening?
yeah, first off, I'd like to thank you for broadcasting it, Nate for putting the league on, David for adminning as always. Caleb, Ashley, and Cooper for just bouncing ideas off each other every week. Um, I'd like to congratulate Clinton again because that was a whooping. He put a whooping on us.
Absolutely, yeah. He definitely did put a whooping on everybody here this evening. As Matthew, congrats on the second place finish, brother. Hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth next Monday for our regular season finale.
Hey, man, I look forward to it. Hopefully, I'm up here again.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you back up here, brother. Enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, thank you, you too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Matthew Catania as Catania comes home here in position number 2 here this evening as we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, the 51 of Joshua Moore. Hey Josh, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yes, I do.
Josh, man, another solid run, another solid effort for you here this evening as you come home in the third position here this evening, man. Take us back through this race. What's kind of going through your mind right now after leading early on, having the fastest lap out there in this race, and leading quite a few laps yourself, and you come home in that third position. It's got to feel like maybe a little bit of a disappointing race, but still being able to come home with some good points and a solid finish. Got to feel half decent here tonight.
Yeah, what am I thinking right now? I'm thinking sadness mostly. and I'm a little hot. It's hot in my room. But yeah, a little disappointing again. Another podium, but no win. But it was this is one of my favorite tracks on the sim. I did really well here in officials a couple of months ago. I think I won like 3 or 4 top split races. So a lot of fun. I was looking for it. This is one I had circled. But yeah, a lot of fun racing with Catania, and Hayden and all of them. Yeah, little. I thought for sure that Woodby did not have another set, so I thought it was just gonna be me and Catania. But good on him for getting the right strategy there. But yeah, disappointing again. Um, yeah, it was fun for the most part. I think once I saw that on that last run he had another set, I was like, all right, I'm gonna just sit back and just race a little bit and just have a nice fun drive. But yeah, overall, okay day.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. I feel you there on that one, but man, it's gotta suck when you make your pit stop. You get those fresh tires there just at around lap 159, and 11 laps or so later, Clinton finally comes down pit side there for the final time as well. And as he said, expecting him to not have fresh tires again, but he just played that strategy perfectly, saved the set there throughout that first stage break, and was able to use his first set there on lap 81, then back down pit road around lap 125-ish for the second set, and that third set there going on at lap 170. And for yourself, you come down and out of corner number 2, you see him in front of you, you got about 4-second gap between you and Clinton, and all of a sudden you realize that he's got those fresh tires. It just puts you into a tough spot. You know you're not catching him. You got 11 lap older tires. What was really going through your mind right there, knowing that finding a caution flag, that this was his race to lose?
Yeah, saw. I knew even if we got a caution, he was gonna run away with it. Didn't matter. I think as soon as I saw him come out in front of me, and I was like, oh, he must have just taken gas. But no, managed his tires really well, and then obviously got that set, and then I saw him to pull away. And it's just a lot of oh man, well, this is over. So kind of just honed it in there. Just tried to finish, not hit the wall too much, which did not happen that much. But yeah, overall fun day. I got to race with Joe. He's always a blast to race with. Got him a top 5, gave him some tips before this thing. But yeah, overall really good day for this Muleburger Custom Homes Toyota Tundra. Got the Days of Thunder paint scheme going on. Been watching a lot of Tom Cruise movies lately, so I think right after I log off here, I'm gonna go watch Mission Impossible.
Ooh, it's a great movie right there. What about The Firm? Have you watched that one?
I've not seen that one. I might have to add that to the list.
That's a good one right there for certain. Check that out. I think it's on Netflix, so you should be able to find it there pretty easily. But that's a classic, good old Tom Cruise movie. It's a little bit of a mind game one into it, as well as like a little bit of it's really cool. It's a really neat movie. Check it out. But Josh, great run, great race nonetheless here for you. Still come home in position number 3. Who would you like to thank for another great performance out there on the racetrack here this evening?
Yeah, first off, got to thank Bruce Muleburger, Muleburger Custom Homes. Still no win. Sorry, man. Maybe next week. We're at a super speedway, one of my specialties. So hopefully we'll bring it for you there. But got to thank my parents for watching this stuff. Got to thank Tom Cruise for keeping me entertained. And I got to thank my teammates for running with me every week. They're a blast to race with. And then lastly, I got to thank you for broadcasting this thing.
Absolutely, brother. Always my pleasure, Josh. As a heck of a run, heck of a drive here in this one, man. And hopefully next week we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth. Maybe another spot or 2 better into victory lane.
Yes, sir.
Beauty and Josh, enjoy the rest of your night.
You too, man.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our 3rd place finisher, Joshua Moore, as Josh comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Solid run, solid drive there for that number 51 ride. Unfortunately, though, that will do it for us here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Everyone coming in with the likes, the comments, the shares. We appreciate each and every single one of you, any of the new followers, any of the new subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough for coming in, showing the love, and enjoying the racing action here this evening with the Metalheads Truck Series. Shout out to JS Designs as well, coming on board for our race sponsor here this evening for our throwback race. And congrats to not only our race winner, but also our throwback race winner there for Clinton Woodby, picking up the the throwback best paint scheme and the race win here this evening, man. The double sweep here in our throwback race. And I can't thank y'all again enough for showing up and showing the love. And we'll see you guys back here tomorrow night for some more truck racing. We'll see a lot of these same drivers in action tomorrow evening, duking it out in our playoffs tomorrow evening. Playoffs for the HTK Beagle is going to be a lot of fun. Going to be some great racing, and we can't wait to see these drivers back in action there at the Speedway. And nonetheless, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Peacemaker, friction sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straight we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Peacemaker, friction sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids we touch the sky.